Good morning, everyone. Brian here with B&K Retro Gaming. This morning I have a comparison-contrast video for you guys of the IntelliVision home video game console game, the IntelliVision home video game console line original library game, Dark Cavern, with its Atari VCS 2600 original library port counterpart, Dark Cavern. Now, both were developed in 1982, and as for the... forgive me, allergies and stuff are still pretty bad this morning. As for the name change, well, back then, legal laws regarding such things weren't very clear. Sure, Atari and Activision at some point had gone at it in court, and it had been determined that yes, Activision developing and publishing games as a third-party developer for the Atari VCS 2600 home video game console was legal as a form of fair use of the console, and that the games themselves would be considered under law a form of video game art, so we're perfectly fine in general. Now, whether this had happened or not before or after Mattel got started with the M Network label, I don't recall for certain. But in any case, the Activision and Atari suit settled about third-party developers, whereas, in general, well, you see, Mattel was primarily a console manufacturer who also happened to be a publisher and developer of their own games. So that they were probably kind of, more than justified in being cautious and wanting to make the name change. Well, the one we developed for our console is Night Stalker. This is Dark Cavern that we developed for the Atari VCS 2600, as you guys can see. Unfortunately, I still need to get a physical copy of Night Stalker, so we're going to go ahead and, as we did in my original video on it, go ahead and use my Games IntelliVision flashback to emulate that. I will get a physical copy at some point, just haven't gotten around to it yet. And then we will use my Hyperkin Retron 77 to go ahead and toss in Dark Cavern. So give me a moment to get set up to get started with Night Stalker, and we'll take a look at the gameplay and how these two versions of the game compare and contrast with each other. Okay, so here we go with Night Stalker. Going to set it up with difficulty level 3. I had games, which is the slowest speed for the game, but should be presumably the easiest one to work with, I guess. Oops. Oh, no you don't. I don't have time to be worried about doing all that. Die, spider. With Night Stalker, it's pretty simple in terms of well, it's a more slow, relaxed paced game with how you would say nicer graphics and sounds to it than what one might be expecting otherwise. Okay, there it goes on. Couldn't get to fire earlier. Again, this it's got nice graphics and sound effects, nice pixels. Your IntelliVision Running Man is reasonably decent looking. It's only pretty slow because I've got it in the slowest mode, but could be worse on that. You kind of have to time the shots. Ah, 2 in 1. Screw you, robot. Move, move, move. Yes. It's, of course, a simple maze genre game anyway, but the bats are worth 100 points, the spider 300, and this first robot, the gray robot, I'm not entirely certain how much he's supposed to be worth points-wise. Another thing that stinks is you have to wait for your bullet, once you fire it, to leave the screen or hit something, or you're not going anywhere. If my last bullet had already gone, I would have not lost that particular life, the robot dum-dum there. Oh well, what can I do about it? Anyway, the bats are worth 100 points apiece, the spider 300, and the blue robot that comes after this one would be worth, he would be worth 500 points. The manual which I looked up online lists this robot is worth, it doesn't really give you a point value for this one, so I'm guessing he's either worth 300 like the spider, 500 like the, blue robot which comes after he does. Or, maybe he's like worth 400, you know, right there in between. Stupid spider. Die. Let's see in a sec what he's worth. 300 points, like the spider it looks like. And I'm an idiot for letting him get me that easy. $1,800, not so terrible. My spider, you will not bite me today. Of course, a new spider respawns every time that the old one dies. The spider's web is a point where that, you know, bullets may or may not travel fast through it. And, where also you may, end up getting, If I remember reading somewhere right, it may slow you down when you are within the web, so... And there are about 5 different types of robots. There's this gray one, then there's a blue one. After that, I think there's a white one. Then comes a black, and then comes an invisible one. Let's see, that's gray, white, black. Oh wait, gray, blue, white, black, and invisible. Yeah, that's 5. Unfortunately, I didn't get to show you guys the second robot before because I didn't get far enough for that. I forget if it comes out at how many thousands of points you get for him, but I think it's like at 5,000 points that one comes out. Die, you bad bastard. Oh, no, you don't. Don't give me that easy. Trying to lure me into a corner. Won't work. Two for one. Twice the fun. Oh, great. Out of ammo. Fortunately, that robot's bullets are so slow that I can just outrun him. Ha ha ha. I am the undefeatable. Darn it. Well, there was 4,800 points. And there's my game over. Anyway, the Night Stalker for the IntelliVision video game console line is definitely great if you like the better graphics, better sound effects, and a little bit more variety of gameplay, a little bit more gameplay depth in terms of enemies and such, and a slightly more relaxed gameplay pace. Okay, now to get set up for the Dark Cavern for the Atari VCS 2600. Okay, so here we go with Dark Cavern for the Atari VCS 2600. Now, I've got set on skill level B, left difficulty switch, skill level B, because that's the easier one. Believe me, it's a lot tougher if you do it otherwise. Hold on here. Okay, let's try that again. There is no way it should be going that. Oh no. Okay, hang on a sec here. Something isn't working right. Something's wrong with that. I know that it's not supposed to do that. Don't know why it is doing that. Okay, there we go, I think. This is what the setting's supposed to be. It may be that you're supposed to have them both set to be if you want to use your game. Okay, the robots are the only thing worth any points in this one. And there was one life. The spiders in this one will, they will freeze you if they catch you, but, you know, temporarily paralyze you, but otherwise, they're not a terribly big problem. While the other squiggly looking things are blobs, which will steal your ammunition the more you are in contact with them. So literally, no, come on, go ahead and, that's just too quick for me. The blobs, the squiggly looking things, will steal your ammunition the more contact you have with them. And, the spiders will temporarily freeze you. The spiders and blobs are worth no points whatsoever. Unlike the bats and spiders in Dark Cavern. Also, this bunker here in the center, you had in you had in Night Stalker 2. But the difference there is you could re-enter it to use as a bit of a shelter. Here you cannot re-enter the bunker, so you're kind of out of luck if you don't get it done. You have to keep running on this one. These single-headed robots, as they're known, are pretty good about, you know, well, the thing with them is they only look one direction at one time. So you can kind of manage to ambush them from behind. I'm just going to run low on ammo here. 2 lives left. Also, the different point values are in the robots themselves. They're worth different points depending on what color they are, and whether they are one-head or two-headed. Which two-headed, they're not really two-headed as much as they just happen to be able to look in more than one direction at once. Usually 2, I think. Alright, and you can kill yourself also by just running into them. And there's my game over at 1900 points. I could have done better. Anyway, that's Dark Cavern for the Atari VCS 2600. The console port of Night Stalker. Give me just a second here. Okay, so that was Night Stalker for the IntelliVision home video game console line. Consoles, and Dark Cavern, the Atari VCS 2600 port of Night Stalker by Mattel's M Network. Generally, I use the term console port in two ways. One, you could say that something like a third-party developer like Activision or Magic, when they would develop a game and then port it to more than one console, well, those are slightly different versions of the game, which have been ported from a third-party developer directly to consoles, so you could call that a console port, in my view. Likewise, when a home video game console has their manufacturer create an original title game for their console, and then chooses to port it to one or more of their competitors' consoles, you could also call that a console port because it originated not in arcades or on home computers, but on one console and was ported to others. So that's the two ways I generally tend to define a console port. Anyway, both are very good to me. As usual on these things, I'm not going to tell you which one I think is better because to me they're both great games and I'll play either one depending on what I have out and feel like doing. And also because I feel like, you guys should make up your own minds based on your own experience and somewhat on watching this video. I will go in and say that, if you like a game with a somewhat more relaxed pace, while still great graphics and sound effects, and a very good deal of gameplay, fair deal of gameplay depth, various enemies and such, Night Stalker is one good way to go. Whereas if you can handle the trade-off for a little bit, sound effects aren't too different, but a bit, and a little bit less of a graphically impressive quality regarding graphics and sprites, while and lacking a little bit of further gameplay depth, but while also having that more faster arcade style pace, then Dark Cavern may be more up your alley. So it just depends. Also, if you happen to grow up with or happen to be a bigger fan of the Atari VCS 2600, then Dark Cavern might more likely hold appeal for you. Or and Night Stalker may be more appealing to those who are traditionally IntelliVision gamers, or vice versa. You might have not grown up with either with one or the other and say, I want to try that one out because I played the other one, so it's just a matter of individual preference, and otherwise they are both great games. They're slightly, in terms of Dark Cavern being a port, it's definitely at least a fair deal different from Night Stalker, but it is still generally the same game. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that little comparison contrast between them. Now, my preferred YouTuber, Brian Puddin, with his channel Brian's Man Cave, also has a great video, or at least a nice one, comparing and contrasting these two. As he calls them, it's a versus video. So, and that's pretty entertaining, though on Dark Cavern, I'm not sure that he knew that putting the difficulty switches into the B position would be the easier mode, as he tends to play it in the harder mode and makes no comment. Anyway, it's a pretty good video, so I will leave you guys a link for that so that you can check out if you'd like. Let's see, I left the Wikipedia article on both videos covering these games individually, so no need to redo that. Anyway, if you guys enjoy my channel's content, please like, share, and subscribe. And please don't hesitate to leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down in the comments section below. You guys take care, have a nice morning, and I will see you again in my next video.